Thank you very much, Brian. Coming to you live from Pancho's Cantina. I am Halftime Howie, and this is Broadcasting on the Beach with Halftime Howie, and we have a great show tonight. And we're going to start it off, folks, in this world, there are good lasers and bad lasers. We're going to start off with the good lasers. And let's start off and welcome our newest sponsor of the show, from Oceanside Wellness. Let's have a nice Ponchos and Halftime welcome for Lee Weiner. Lee, we're going to start off with good lasers.
Okay.
Let's talk about how your laser therapy deals with chronic pain for so many issues, and why so many people who have pain issues throughout all of Long Island, especially here in Oceanside, Island Park, and Long Beach, should talk to you and get the laser treatment.
Okay, thank you, Howie. I've had the laser now for 4 years, and the results I've seen have been amazing so far. What the laser does, it's energy, which makes the tissues heal. So when people have chronic pain, whether it's like any kind of arthritis, tendonitis, bursitis, any kind of low back pain, shoulder, the knee, the foot, like plantar fasciitis, anything that involves any kind of swelling or inflammation, the laser does wonders with. And what it does, it decreases the swelling, because the pain actually comes from the tissue damage itself. So we apply the laser over those areas, and people can get better much, much quicker.
Excellent. Okay. Excellently. You know, the Mets superstar, their marquee player, David Wright, was just diagnosed with spinal stenosis. Most people have no clue what spinal stenosis is, but Lee Weiner, being a top chiropractor, he knows. So, Lee, why don't you educate all our fans and me and all the Met fans and people in general, what exactly is spinal stenosis? And knowing that David Wright has this, what do you think his prognosis is?
Okay, spinal stenosis means the narrowing of the spinal canal, which means between the bones where the spinal cord is, it can get smaller in there. So that's one type of stenosis, and then there's another type which usually affects the older folks, which means there's arthritis, which now fills up the holes where the nerves used to be. So in that type, the second one with the older folks, usually that will start compressing the actual nerves where they come out of the spine. And the first one, which we think that's David Wright has, there's actually a narrowing that's compressing the spinal cord itself. But it's kind of funny, they're not really releasing too much other information besides that, what kind of symptoms he had. Like he went down with a hamstring injury, not so much as lower back pain, they just called it a setback. So it seems like the stenosis he has could be more of like an MRI or an X-ray finding as opposed to what's really happening there. Since he's never really had much of a back problem, just a hamstring problem. So it's tough to really say which one he has. But his prognosis, I think he'll be back shortly. I think just his hamstring was affected, which also is being affected by a bad back, which is what he probably has. But the stenosis is more of an MRI finding. So hopefully we'll see him shortly.
Will he hit? Being a Met fan and a doctor, there's a lot of controversy lately about the Mets going with six-man rotation. A lot of people, especially old school baseball players, are saying they're really babying these guys too much. I mean, you look at a guy like Noah Syndergaard, he's 6'7", 240 pounds, a huge specimen. To me, an extra day's rest might hurt a guy like that. Are the Mets overdoing it as far as trying to be, too careful on their health and their shoulders and their backs and their arms? In your opinion, are the Mets being overcautious by going with six-man rotation?
It seems like all of baseball is heading that way, unfortunately. The pitchers are now being babied, and they're watching every pitch, counting pitches, but there's never really, it seems like, any science behind what they're doing. And if you think even just 20, 30 years ago, these guys didn't have injuries like this, and they were pitching 300 innings a year. And now they're limiting all these guys every single year. And when they started doing this, like the late 90s, the top two guys like Kerry Wood and Mark Pryor, and those are the first two guys that actually started having all these elbow problems. So it seems like there's too much babying with the pitchers, and these guys need to pitch more. So basically, a six-man rotation doesn't really seem like too logical, because these guys, they need to pitch. That's what builds up the arm strength.
Couldn't agree more, Lee. And for the people out there, why don't we give your information, how people can get a hold of Lee Weiner?
Okay, the best way, you can go to oceansidewellnesscenter.com, and you can call 516-255-0272. And tomorrow's actually our 14th-year anniversary.
All right. Okay. Happy anniversary, Oceanside Wellness. Awesome. All right.